Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create this particular dashboard right on your screen. So this is actually created inside Microsoft Excel and it's about healthcare, dashboard. So I have this one in Excel and I have the same exact thing inside Microsoft Power BI, which is this particular one right on your screen right now. It depends on which one you want to actually learn. So today we're going to be basing our learning on the Excel version. This is the Power BI version right in here. So the Power BI version has two different colors. So it has the light version and it has the dark version. So here is the dark version. Let me show you the light version right in here. So here comes the light version as well. So it's very dynamic. You can actually click on the visual and your dashboard will actually, filter and stuff like that. You can switch from percentage to values. It depends on what you really want to actually have, or what you want to see on your dashboard. It's as simple as this. You can actually filter based on AM or based on PM, and your dashboard gets to some kind of, filtered based on what you've actually selected. So let us see what is going on inside Microsoft Excel before we start creating. In Excel, we have the ability to switch between AM and PM, just like what we have just seen inside Microsoft Power BI. And you can actually decide to go from percentage to value, and your charts will actually be updated automatically. So the heat map right here is the same exact heat map we have inside Microsoft, Power BI right in here. So I'm going to show you every single thing you need to know about how to create this particular dashboard. In case you want to actually create the Power BI version, I already have the video right on this particular channel. If you can't find it, just leave a comment. I'm going to actually share the link with you. Okay, so today we're going to be focusing on this particular one. And in order to actually have this particular dashboard right in here created, we have to follow a roadmap to get that done. And that's going to be this particular PDF right in here. You have to read through it to understand exactly what we are going to get into before we start creating. Okay, taking you back to the dashboard. So it's something very dynamic. You need to actually look at how we got every single thing right in here created, from transformation of the data down to analysis, down to the visualization. We're going to learn every single thing. Okay, before we start creating, if this is your first time hitting this particular channel, all you have to do is to do me a favor to subscribe and as well share. Is very important. Your comment is actually the most important and encouraging to me. So leave a comment and let me know what you feel about my dashboards, and let's get into the class. If you have downloaded the resources file, you're going to see a PDF. I have it opened and it will look just like what you have right on my screen. So the next thing you have to do is to read through the text you have right in here, right? I'm not going to read through it. You just have to take your time to study it and see what exactly we need to create. So if you look at it right now, it says you can actually use either Excel or Power BI. That was why I have actually created this particular dashboard in both Excel and Microsoft Power BI. So let us look at how we can load our data. There are two ways, but one is not going to work. Let me show you. So here comes the data. The very thing you need to understand is how is the structure of your data, is. So what we have to do right now is to Control T over here, convert to a table. So that gives us more visibility, and this is actually something you should actually be doing every single time you have data set in Excel. So over here right now, as you can see, this is not formatted as time. To have it formatted as time right now, highlight this column, Control 1. So go over to, here and click on OK. So now we have it as time. So if I now create a pivot table with this, let's see what happens. So I'm going to click on Insert here and go over to Pivot Table. Then just click on this. So right away, I want to actually analyze based on time. I'll drag the time on the rows, then drag any column on this particular, values right in here. And I just want to see count. Click over here to get it to count. Click on count and click on OK. So those are the numbers of, patients in every single time that we have. But unfortunately, there is no way we can group by AM and PM. We have it like this. So we don't have any column that supports us to actually get that done. And if I come over here to extract the, AM and PM, let's try if it can actually happen. So I'm going to say PM, go down, and that PM, go down. So this time around, AM. So now it has picked it. So it's not working again, AM, So PM, do that until it actually picks it. So you can see now, it's difficult for you to actually extract the movement from the time right here. But it's as easy as ABC if you know how to use Power Query, which is what I'm going to show you. So I'm not going to use Power Query just because of this alone. If it is because of this, I can manipulate my way to actually extract this from here using another method. I wouldn't go into that right now. So the reason why we're going to use Power Query to actually have things done right here is simply because we're going to be writing DAX to actually create something much more advanced inside Microsoft Excel. So what is DAX? DAX is actually known as Data Analysis Expression. It is a language used in Power BI for calculation and as well in Excel and other Microsoft package. So now, what do? We are not going to use this particular sheet, which is this one you downloaded. So just Control N to create a new one. So once we created a blank one now, you can actually save it to the same place. So call it whatever you like. In my own case, I just call it Health Dashboard. And the next thing we have to do right now is for we to bring in our data. So how do we get that done? Go over to the top ribbon, click on Data, and click over this particular part where it says Get Data, and go over to this particular file. So right now, I am not too sure if my data is in Excel version or CSV or even PDF, right? So I can pick anyone from here. In my own case, I'm going to pick up Workbook. So if you look at it right now, we only have this particular Excel dashboard right in here. So we don't have the actual data we want to use. So what do? You don't have to go back and start choosing different, file type. So go over to Excel files and click on this. Now you have this. So click on the data set you have actually, downloaded. So I'm going to go with this one, import. So now we have several options. We have load, we have transform data, and we have cancel. Let us click on transform data. So here comes Power Query. This is where you actually get your data transformed and actually clean, get it ready for analysis. So let us see what we're going to do right in here. The first thing I'm going to do is just to make sure I just call this one data. Sorry. Okay. So next again is for me to actually make sure I check my data type and make sure it's actually 100% correct. So keep checking, keep checking. Okay, everything looks perfectly okay. So right now, what I need to do is this. If I want to use this particular column like this to analyze my data, I'm going to have lots of time. So for that, I want to round this particular time to like a whole number, stuff like that. So if you look at it now, what we have right here is 3:34 p.m. Over here we have 7:54 p.m. and over here, as you can see, we have 2:58 p.m. So what we want to have now is this. In this particular 3:34, we want to have 4 p.m. over here, 8 p.m. over here, 3 p.m. So we want to round it just like that. So how do we actually achieve that? It's easy. Come, let me show you. Okay, the next thing we have to do right now is to go over to add column. So right now, we want to add an extra column to this. And after we have done this right now, we can decide to actually delete this column. It's optional, but let's do it. So now, let us add a new column and see what we can do to round this particular place up. So go over to this particular add column here. From add column, click on this particular custom column. So once you have this, make sure you name this one to something that is actually going to explain the column. So round time. All right. So bring it down so that you can actually see the name of the column you want to actually work on. So over here now, I'm going to use a function called number dot format, dot round. Then open parentheses. Now this one will be number dot format. Oh, that reminds me. You need to know what I am writing. This is called M code. M code helps you to do a custom formatting inside Microsoft Power Query to clean and transform your data. You don't actually need to learn this to get this done. But if you want to make sure you do something much more customized, then you have to just learn this. So now you can see what it is. Type it. If you have any error, don't worry. Follow me over and over again. You're going to get everything right. Let's get back here. So right now, once you have this now, the next thing you have to do is to make sure you open in the parentheses. And over here, we have to slot in here So sorry to say, this is a case sensitive. So now our format here is on small letter. So format just like this. So now we do this. So over here, we have to slot in this particular event time. Go over here, you can double click over here, and here you go. You have it right in here. So once you have done that, you close it, and space, you do multiply. So what are we going to do? We multiply this by 60, then we're going to multiply it again by 24. Then again, we have to divide it by 60 again, by 60. So once we are done, we can go ahead and close twice. So you see what we have done here? So over here, we have to open the parentheses. Sorry to avoid that before now. So here, there is no error now. So what we need to do right away here is for we to actually make sure we copy this particular part here. So copy, pay attention please. So shift enter to go into a new line, divide, then paste this one if copied right in here, and remove the closure of the parentheses. So as you can see, there is no more error. So if this is your first time to do something like this, you might end up having difficulty getting it right, but no problem. All you have to do is to pause the video and do it over and over again. So let's go. So the next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we click on OK. So as you can see, we encounter an error. What is this error all about? How do we get back there? Let us go ahead and double click over here. So we are here again. So I'm trying to look at where the mistake actually is. Okay, I think this is not format. This should be from. So change this to from. Let's try it once more. So can you see that now? Little mistake, you have an error. Okay, now we have something like this. The next thing we have to do right now is to go over here and make sure we convert this back to time. So once we have done this now, let us take a look at the magic. So over here, as you can see, this is 3:34, and right here we have rounded it up to 4 p.m. So this is 12:02 right in here. So 12:02, because there is no number, after 12, it's actually 02. We're still going to have our 12 here. We can't round it. If you understand how to round number, you understand what is happening right in here, right? Okay. So the next thing we have to look at right now is that we have some errors, right? If I keep on scrolling down now, we have some couple of errors right in here. And how do you read your errors, easily? Is for you to make sure you go over to view and turn on this particular column quality. That will give you a percentage of error that you have inside a particular column, just like this one, 1% of the rows contained in this particular column has errors. Okay, now what do we do? In my own case, I want to verify what the error is all about. Let's go over here. While we are in home, click over keep rows and go to keep errors. So in keep errors, we have to go back to this particular column that we actually created it from. So if you look at it right now, all the errors falls under 11 something. If we scroll all the way down, can you see? So what do we do to this right now? If this particular data is for a client or your boss, you have to ask questions before you decide to actually do otherwise. But in our own case, what we're going to do right now is to make sure we round this particular time to 12, because when you look at 11:31, it's actually going to be 12 if we have to round it based on what we have done. But right now, we do not need to write any M code to actually have this done. Let me show you. So now, come over to here. If you look at this particular part, this is where every single thing you have done will be recorded right in. You can time travel back to before and after right in here. So the filter we have done to actually get this error filtered is actually recorded right here. We have to remove it. So go ahead and remove it. So we have it back. So the next thing you have to do right now is to right click and go over to replace errors. So if you look at it now, all our errors falls under PM. So take note of that. So right click and go to replace errors. So now over here, we're going to do 12:00:00, PM. So once done, click on OK. So we have just replaced our errors, and now we have it to be 100%. So in that case, there is no need for you to keep this particular column right in here again. You can actually delete it right now. Hope you get that. If I'm too fast, just make sure you pause it and get to where I am before you continue. Okay, now this is what it is. So you have to just go ahead and delete. So the next thing we have to do right now is to name this one to just time. So as simple as this. So our main, key aspect of this particular transformation is to get the PM and the AM from here. How do we do that? It's easy. Let's quickly go ahead and go to add column again. From here, choose this particular column from example and go over to, from selection. So once you have done that, just make sure you keep it on view to look at exactly what you're actually going to get. So over here, let us just rename this one to whatever you want, not name it to whatever. Okay, now I'm going to just type in here PM. So automatically, it actually detects the patterns and just give us what we wanted. Let's just go ahead and click on OK right in here. As you can see, we have this. Don't worry, you're going to understand why we are doing this in a jiffy. Once we start, creating some visuals, you see where this particular thing we have just done right now will definitely help us. So now let's quickly go ahead and check what else do we need to do. Nothing. Everything looks perfectly okay right in here. So it is time for we to actually load this back. But if I say load this back, are we loading this back to Excel worksheets? The answer is no. If you load this back to Excel worksheet, there is no way you can actually interact with it using DAX. So for that, we have to push it into a different machine inside Microsoft Excel. So let me take you to that particular part. So click on Home. Right here, click on this particular drop down, then click on Close and Load To is important. So while you're here, the next thing you have to do now is to click on Only Create Connection, then add this particular one here. Can you see? Add this data to the data model. Click on it, then click on OK. So right now, your data set will not be seen on the surface of Microsoft Excel, but we can actually view it if that is what we want. So if you look at it right now, we have 9,920 rows. So all we have to do now, you can decide to close this. Don't panic. If it's the first time, I'm going to show you how to get it back. So go over to the top ribbon and over here, can you see it now? So if you can't see that, click over Power Pivot. You're going to see this particular manage. So click on it. So here you go. Can you see now? We now have the same data we have inside Power Query right in here right now. And this will definitely allow us to start writing DAX. This is exactly what you need to do to have your data transformed and give you exactly what you want. Okay, so now we can actually go back to Excel by clicking over this particular part to switch us back to Excel workbook. And we are right in here. It is time for you to start analyzing. If you come back to the PDF, you're going to see the KPIs we have to create, like total patients, average length of stay, bed occupancy, and year-to-date total. So let's see how we can actually get it created. I think I told us that we're going to be using DAX to actually get something done. It will be very easy to be done using DAX than just using normal Excel functions. So all we need to do now is to go over to this particular insert, and from insert right now click on pivot table. This time around we're going to use from model right in here. So click on that one, and now we have to choose where we want to actually have it right in. So I'm going to click over here and click on OK. Okay, now that is something that you need to understand, but I'm not going to go into detail about what DAX is and every single thing you need to understand, but just have to understand that we have two types of calculation when you use DAX to calculate anything. So we have implicit and we have explicit. Let me show you the implicit measure you can create with DAX. So click over here now, click over this particular part. If I want to see the total patients right now, I can decide to count the patient ID. I'll drag it over here, and I'll make sure it's not on sum. I'll make sure it's on count. Go over to view field, click on count, and this gives me the numbers of the patients that I have. But the thing is this, I cannot reuse this particular one right in here. You know why? This is what we call implicit measure. So what can we do? We have to write our own, DAX to calculate this particular same number of patients for us. Let me show you how. And that is what we call explicit measure. So I'm going to put here implicit measure, right? So right here we have our implicit measure. So to calculate our explicit measure right now, what we need to do is to actually go over to this particular same, power pivots or pivot table analyzer. I presume. Let's see where can we go. Yeah, power pivot here. So while we are here, we are going to see this particular part that is called measures. So click over it and create a new measure right inside here. So now, this is it. Inside here, we're going to actually name our measure to be total patients. And right in here, what we need to do is to use a DAX function, not an Excel function right now. So we have a function in DAX called, in Power BI rather, Power BI DAX called count rows. Count rows will count the numbers of rows inside your table that contain, data. Let's use that. So count rows, if you pay attention to the IntelliSense right in here, it's looking for a table. And the table is going to be the table we actually brought in, which is data. This particular one right in here. So all we have to do is to go ahead and close it. And you can verify it by clicking on check formula. And here you go, we have it. So click on this particular number and take off the extra decimal number and check this particular one. Click on OK. Let's find out what it is. So can you see? We have the same exact thing. So the beautiful thing is this. We can reuse this particular one that's actually explicit now. We call this one explicit. So I don't know if I get my explicit right. So this is explicit measure. This is implicit measure. They give you the same exact number, but you cannot reuse this one. You can reuse this one over and over again. So we have achieved this particular one right in here. Let us see how we can actually achieve others. So what should we calculate first? Okay, the next thing we have to do is to calculate the patient's year to date. So to get that done right now, we need a date table. That is what we don't have, but don't worry, we can both create it together. Come, let me show you. So go over here, click over this particular data. Now, click over queries and connections. So you're back right in here again. So double click on it to have it opened. So right now we have to create a dynamic date table so that when we have new data that actually comes in, have it updated right in here, our date table as well will be updated. So let me show you how to do that. Go over to this particular part now, right click and click on duplicate. So once you have done that, name this one calendar. So you have a calendar table right now, but not that fast. Click over this particular event date, right click and remove other columns. Now you have just one single column that contains date. The next thing to do now is to double click on it and just name it date. So once you have done this right now, you have to add other columns, right? But not too fast. Wait a minute. So let me show you what you need to do. Right click again and say remove duplicates. So you're going to find the remove duplicates here. So now you have unique list of date. Why? Because you have to create what I call relationship between your date and your main data. So let's see what we can do. The next thing we have to do right now is to add columns. So to add columns now, click on add column here, go over to date and extract the year. Can you see it now? So make sure you click back on this one, go over to add column again, make sure it's active, click over here and add month. So what you have right here is the month number. It's not actually the month name. So you have to rename this one to maybe month number. So we go back here again. So we have to make sure this one is active. We go over here, we locate the month name, which is name of month. So now we have our name of month to be in full format. We don't want it to be like this. We want to actually have something more compressed. So what do? You actually highlight the column. This time around, switch from add column to transform. If you want to understand Excel, Power Query, and as well Power BI, I have a course that will teach you every single thing you need to know. So please try to check that out and see what you can do to learn about Microsoft Excel and become very much advanced in it. So let's see what we can do. So over here under transform, go over to extract. So under extract, just choose first characters. So we want to extract the first 3 characters from our month. Put 3 over here and click on OK. So now we're going to have the shorter format. This is exactly what you need to do. Okay? So once you have done this right now, let us extract the week and see what we can do. So let's go over to this particular part, and week of months. Oh no, this is what you get when you don't know the difference between transform and add column. So what transform does is to actually transform the existing column for you. So what add column does, add column add a new column and apply the transformation into it and keep your existing column for you. So I just made that mistake right now. Please don't make it. Let's just go ahead and remove it. So make sure you switch to add column. Then come over here, click, and go to day, name of day. So name of day, you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, down to the last day. So all you have to do is the same exact thing. You just have to come over here, come over to transform. Then while you are here, go over to extract. The first 3 characters is what we want. Just click on this one and click over here. Then you have something like this. Can you see right now? So we don't need most of this. Most of those things I'm actually adding right now. I'm just trying to show you what you can do when you need them. Otherwise, we don't need all of them. Let me show you how you can actually add quarter. So click over this particular part here, and let's go over to add column again. Click over here and go to where you can see quarter writing, then quarter of the year. So now, here you go. If I click over here now, you have the 4 quarters, right? So the next thing you have to do right now, this is actually a number. So you have to make sure it shows like normal quarter, right? So go over to this particular transform again. Then this time around, go over to this particular part format. Add prefix. Yeah, sure. Then you can just add Q, a dash. And once you click on OK right now, this looks more like quarter than numbers, right? If I click over here right now, this is what I have. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, down to quarter 4. So what other column do we need to actually add again? I think we are done with all of this. The next thing we have to do right now is to come to home, click over here, and close and load to. So now we have a new table. This particular new table we have right now, we're going to actually create a connection between this new table with our other table. That will actually give us what we want. So go ahead and click over this particular part right here. Okay. So now it's loading this. Give it some time. Beautiful. So the next thing we have to do is to go over here and click on this particular part, then click over here. So click on OK. So here we go. So we have our calendar, we have our date, data rather. So now go over to this particular diagram view. So while you're here now, you can see we have 2 different tables right in here. So this is our main data, and this is our calendar table we just added right now. So we have to take event date. This will actually create what we call many-to-one relationship. So move it and keep it on top of this particular one right in here. So this gives us many-to-one relationship. This is where the many side is, and this is the one side right in here. Okay, so once you are done, click over here and step off from here. This is all we need to do right now. So we can continue with our KPI, and this is exactly what you need to do. So try to pause it and actually try it all by yourself and see what you get. Now, let us calculate our total patients year to date. So make sure you click on this one to have it added to your pivot table directly. So what we need to do right now is to go back to the top ribbon, click over here, and now we choose measure, now new measure. So over here, we're going to name it patient year to date, right? So we have to actually start getting things done right in here. So the first function we have to use is called calculate. The calculate function helps you to recalculate something that had been calculated before and branch out to what you actually want, right? I don't know how to explain this to you, but if you actually go through my DAX videos, you'll see that I use calculate a lot right in there. So now we're going to use calculate over here. So shift enter to go into a new line. So with the calculate function right now, I told you that we have implicit measure and explicit measure. This is where the beauty actually comes in. Now we have to use this one. If we don't have this one, we have to calculate, from scratch again using the count rows right now. But we don't need to do that because we have already used it before now. So all we have to do is to actually, if you just hit your square bracket, on your computer, you're going to have something like this that gives you every single, calculations you have. So now we choose this particular one. So once you have done this, comma, so date, can you see? Now, what is it looking for? It's looking for what? The date column. So we just go ahead and do calendar, and we go with this particular one here. So you close, shift, enter, then you close for this. So if I just go ahead and actually check this right now, this is 100% correct. The next thing you have to do is to click over here and go over to comma separator, click on this, and over here to add it. So you might actually have the same number right now. Don't worry, you will see the difference later. The next calculation right now is the bed occupants right in here, which is this particular very one here. So we have to calculate the bed occupants percentage, which is something very easy as well. So click over here and let's go back to this particular part and choose new measure. So in here, rename this to something like this. And now we have to do the magic. So what do? We just have to use the divide function. Divide function. So we have a column called occupants, bed occupants itself. You have to check it out if you have it, but I know you have it. So type in bed, so sum. You have to use sum function to sum that column because it's a number. So sum bed occupants right in here. So once you have done that, you divide that by the total numbers of what? Total numbers of the patients that you have. So which is going to be this total patients right in here. So we just go ahead and close and check this here. That is correct. Then this time around, it's actually percentage. So it's not number. If I click on number, so come over here, you click on percentage, then just one decimal number. That is it. Click on OK. So it's giving us 77%. Can you see it right now? So let us go over to our data set to check that column in case you don't see it or you've missed it. So click over here now to switch. Now switch to this. Let's double click over here. We shouldn't even think of going over here. We can actually go ahead and step off right now. So you can hover over it, and once you hover over it, all you have to do is to step in here to check anything you want to check. Can you see now? So bed occupants actually contains number 0 and 1 over here. Can you see? So any column you want to investigate right now, you can actually do that through this particular means right here. It's as easy as that. So we have done this one. We have done this particular one as well. Then the last one here is the average length of stay right in here. So let us verify through here to see the column that contains it. So if you look at it right now, we have length of stay here in decimal number. So if we have to create an average length of stay, how do you think we're going to do that? So all we have to do is to use the average function, right? So we just go over here, we click over here, we add under measure again. So we just come over to this particular part. So we just do average. So length of stay. So once you go, check it out to see if there's any error. No error here. So just click on OK. So here we go. So this is what you get when you don't format it from there. So if you want to go back and now and format it, it's easy. All you have to do is to click over here and scroll all the way down. Those are the measures that has been added for you. Right click on this particular one and go to edit measure. So once you have done that, go over to number and just go ahead and do, so maybe in just 2 decimal number. So click on OK. So now it has actually been averaged for you with 2 decimal point, wherever you want. So this is exactly what you can do to actually have all your KPIs created. It is as easy as this. If you're still watching and you're actually, getting value from it, what stops you? Hit the like button. It's very important. Support this particular channel and subscribe if you have not done that. And share is very important. Your comment is something that is going to actually keep me creating more content for you guys. Please do that right now. If you look at it, we are now able to actually achieve all the KPIs that we were asked to actually, create. So we have done that successfully. Right now, let us look at how we can start creating our dashboard. So over here, as you can see, those are the colors we're going to be using to actually create our dashboard. So this is for the background, and those are the charts we're going to be having. So we have their colors right in here. So the very first thing we have to do quickly is for to create a sheet for our dashboard. So make sure you have this one hidden. So once you have this right now, the grid lines are not actually cool when you want to create dashboard. So the first thing you have to do is to go over to the top ribbon here. So if your Excel looks like this is what you're going to have at default when you actually have Excel installed. So if you want to create dashboard, just make sure you come over to here. It depends on your computer size or the way your computer is being arranged. So you might have something different. Just look for it and just go ahead and use auto right in here. It's going to have the ribbons hidden for you. So you get to go into it once you click on it at the top. So now we just have to go to view. From view, we have to click on hide, and we have something as plain as this. So what do we do next? We Control A to highlight every single cells inside this particular worksheet. So once we have done that, we Control 1 to bring this up, and we go to fill color here, and we click on more. So that particular color I've just shown you is what you need to actually type in this particular place here. So once you've typed it in, you're going to see something as dark as this. So don't forget, this is the color I'm using right now, OB131C. That is 0B131C. That is what you need to actually use. Okay, so once you have done that now, the next thing is for me to actually choose this particular color again. I want to use it for a particular highlight, very important. So make sure you copy this. So to type it out right now is ADA349. It's easy. So come over here. Now we go over to the top ribbon. Quickly go ahead and click on this, insert here, go to shapes and pick up this particular rectangle. Just drag it down and Control 1 to change the color. So make sure the line is out, no line. Then the fill color, click over here, more color. Then over here, you type in the particular color code and you click on OK. So this is what you are going to actually have once you actually have this done. So right now, we want to use this particular one to separate, the top header here from the rest. So over here, I'm just going to go ahead and do something like this. Okay, so once I have done this now, the next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and say, okay, I don't want something like this. I want to go over to gradient field rather, and I want to just have 2 stops. So remove 2 stops. Okay, I want to have 3 stops in the middle one. So in the middle one here, I would actually love to go ahead and say, you know what? Just give me this exact color. Then as for you, I want to choose this very color for my background. As for you as well, I want to choose this particular color for my background. Then go over to this particular direction and choose the one that has this particular center. That is linear right. So it looks somehow like this. Can you see right now? It creates some kind of effect right on the shape you are using. So if we click back right now, we can actually readjust it. Move this one closer. So move this one as well. Just move it a little bit. Move it. Okay, let's move everything. So it gives you something like this right in here. So once you have this and you're very much satisfied with what you have, this is what we truly need. So the next thing right now is to start to bring in our KPIs right in here. So to get that done now, go over to the top ribbon and click on insert right in here. Then go over to where it says text and text box. So drag this in, and the first thing we need to bring in is total patients. So let's go over here to format it. So make sure it's centralized, and we choose white, not too bright. So we go over to Control 1, we say no fill, no line. So we have something that looks like this. So we're going to keep it somewhere around here for the time being. So duplicate it and bring this one below it. Then now it is time to activate back our formula bar. So once we have our formula bar right in here with an equal sign, all we have to do is to go over to our analysis right here. And the first thing we want to pick right now is going to be our total patient. this one. So once we have that done, let's quickly go back up. And now we just have to change the color to white. Then we have to increase the size to show up very well, like this, right? So now we can just go ahead and copy this, keep this over here. So duplicate with your Control D, keep this over here, then duplicate again, then keep this over here. So once you have done that now, you can hold your Control key to select the top one to make sure they are properly aligned. Go over to the top ribbon, then click on Shape Format and go to Align and align them to the top. So once you have done that right now, you do the same thing to this particular ones right in here. So make sure you hold your Control key and just go ahead and do Align to the top as well. So properly aligned. The next thing you have to do is to change what you have right in here. So this one now will be patient year to date. So remove the total and just Control Z. So remove the total away from here, and so year to. So now our KPIs are ready. This is exactly what we want to have. So we are not done yet. We have to actually create other charts and other things to make sure we get what we want. So quickly before you go, the next thing you have to do is to make sure you name your dashboard. It's very important. Let's do that. So as you can see, I have just typed out what I want to have as the title and the subtitle of my dashboard. So if you have the company's logo, this is where you're going to have it right in. So we just have to make sure we move this one and keep it right in here. So right now we have to start adjusting things. Now, all of those things here, we don't have to move. I don't know. Oh, what happened? Oh, sorry. We have to redo this one again. It's easy. I don't know how it happened, but we all have it up there. So click on this one and let us apply this once more. Okay. So you know what? So if you have to move any of this thing, you don't have to move it manually. You can move it all at once if you know how to navigate Excel. So go over here right now at the top ribbon, then make sure you click on Home, go over to Find and Select. So click on the drop down and go to Select Objects. Then now you can select all these particular, KPIs, their objects together. Now you can drag them down. Select again. Then aim the edge of it, drag them down. So can you see that now? So now you can drag this one down right in here. So once you have done that, this one now can go into this particular part. So we don't want this one to actually, be too bright as this. You can go over to text option, then click over here and choose a different color. That's a little bit calm. Can you see now? So we have to return this one back to the base where they belong. So here we go. You can keep it right here. So we want to make sure we actually leave a white space at the top. It's very important. So step perfect. Something like this looks perfectly okay. This is what you can do to make sure your dashboard looks very pretty. So right now, we are almost there. Don't worry. You're going to have something very beautiful. Not just the beauty that matters. What matters is the insight and how your dashboard could help the end users to actually make decisions with data without basing their decision on guesswork. Let's continue.